I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem. You don't need trust banks.
But does that disrupt you eventually? Because you are custodying all of these assets.
No, we're not a custodian. We're not, we use third-party custodians in everything we do.
In everything you do?
We're not a custodian bank.
So your goal, by the way, I don't think that he was technically a custodian either, which is a separate issue.
I think they were. I don't know if there was a real custodian in that closed ledger, but that's a whole other story. You should ask him that question. No, I mean, the transformation, think about instantaneous settlement, bonds and stocks. No middlemen. We're going to bring down fees even more dramatically. As for me, I don't have to vote on any shares anymore because the beneficial owner will do all the voting.
Tokenization, which we're trying to really be a leader in. We think that's the wrapper of the future. And then blockchain-enabled financial services, which we think with tokenization really will enhance the user experience and create innovations that you just can't do on the old rail. So, you know, we're playing for the long game, and we're very excited where we're positioned in this, you know, quickly emerging new platform. I knew that it wasn't about DeFi, not for regulated financial service companies. It was responsible DeFi. So you want some of the functionality benefits that come with DeFi, but you have to retain the foundational principles of regulated financial services, customer protections, anti-money laundering, know your customer. So we actually expected all this. Now, that said, it's a tremendously intense environment with the regulators, but we're amazingly proud of what we were able to accomplish last year. And I think, you know, it's fair to say, you know, that the SEC views WisdomTree as very constructive in trying to bring some of these innovations to the...
Prince, can you kind of describe what we're looking at here and give viewers a sense of how it's going to change the face of McDonald's, the consumer-facing front of the business?
Sure. One of the things that we're thinking about is different formats at McDonald's. With delivery now being such a large part of the business, with so much of the business going through mobile, where someone might come to the restaurant and they want curbside, they don't want to actually walk in. All of those things, when you play those out, they have an impact on how big of a restaurant do you need, how much indoor seating do you need to have. And so what we're testing down in Dallas is essentially a restaurant that has no indoor seating and is geared much more for pickup through dual lane drive-through, much more geared for delivery only. We're doing a lot of testing in other markets around the world. So I think the McDonald's restaurant as you know it is going to evolve over time. We're certainly going to still have a lot of the restaurants that are traditional restaurants, but I think there's also an opportunity for us to think about new format innovation and how we change the physical layout of our restaurants for a much more digital world. We're seeing our China business starting to come back quite well. We certainly had several years there where the business was declining. We're still down versus where we were in 2019. But ask me in a week, because I'm headed to China in a week, and I'll have a much better sense after that. But overall, when you look at the numbers, clearly there's a bounce back happening in China, and we're benefiting from that.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we have Blackrock's Larry Fink letting us know how tokenization is going to transform the world, and how protocols like Ripple, XLM, Bitcoin Lightning, real-time settlement will change banking. And that's the reason why these regional banks have to say bye-bye. You're only going to have the big banks. And then when you add in Ethereum smart contracts, and then plus we know DeFi is definitely the new banking, you're transforming the whole financial system. And guys, we know this is all about the fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take over the economy, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And we're starting to see all of our corporations turning to automation. And we see McDonald's stock hits an all-time high. And we have the McDonald's CEO says he's getting ready for the digital world. And we're seeing all these big corporations laying off. And we know they're turning to the machines. And who's moving the masses over to the digital world? The fourth industrial revolution? That's right, the Fed. The central bankers are moving the masses like sheep. Remember, by the time they wake up, the fourth industrial revolution would already be here. We know the NWO caused the problem, wait for the reaction, and run in with the solution. And we know they printed all this money to cause inflation, raising rates on the inflation that they caused, which is causing a banking crisis, and on top of it, causing layoffs. And who employs the masses? That's right, small business. And who does small business turn to? That's right, the small banks. So as the small banks crumble, small businesses crumble, then you have mass layoffs, but the NWO has the solution. The robots, algorithms, and drones get to take over the economy. Now they have money, which is crypto. And the sheep will be going inside the metaverse, getting free money. It was already tested. They sat at home doing the C word, getting free money and happy. But little do they know this money is going to be airdropped. They're going to be told what, where, and when and how to buy it because this money is programmable. And they have 3 to 6 months to spend it or poof, it's gone. And remember, the crypto teacher told you because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
So on the other side, you've been doing this restructuring. You mentioned the layoffs, which we reported on. What's the earnings benefit overall to what you're doing?
The way we looked at the restructuring, it was not about trying to get a G&A savings. It was much more for us about changing our ways of working. And one of the things that I wanted us to be able to do is we need to be able to be faster as an organization. We need to be more innovative. We need to be more efficient. And I saw things with how we were organized, how we were working, that were going to get in the way of that. And so one of the things we took a look at with the senior team over the last 6 months is how do we change our ways of working? We need to stop working in silos. We need to stop having every market try to invent its own light bulb, so to speak. And we need to do a much better job of digitizing the organization. So that was the impetus for taking a look at the organization. And unfortunately, as you noted, it did result in some people leaving us. But it came from a place about how do we actually get better as an organization as opposed to trying to hit a specific savings.
Where are the Fed futures now, Steve, just so we know? What, 70-something?
80-something, Joe. 88% probability of a rate hike coming in May. And I think the deal is that, yeah, there are a few things left, and if the Fed wants to look at, I'll walk you through those in just a second. But I think Powell's just going to take what he's been given here. If you look at the 88% saying it's a quarter point coming, and then if you look down the road, there's a hold, and then there's those cuts built in. You look at the January Fed funds futures that shows that 445, so about 70 basis points separates where the Fed thinks it's going to be and where the market thinks it's going to be. But that's not what's in front of us. What's in front of us is you have the claims tomorrow, and you also have that banking data. And I know the Fed is watching that banking data very carefully. I got a chart to kind of chew over here. That's sort of the last outstanding number here, Joe, which is look at the deposit year-over-year change. We've actually never seen anything like this, what we're looking at right now. And yet, if you look at the loan data, it's a little bit lower, but not a whole lot lower. Some of that may be because of inflation makes loans bigger in general. But you see this negative number we have on deposits, that's the one thing that could stay the Fed's hand. I just have not heard a whole lot of folks saying that what's happening now in the banking situation trumps what's happening now in the inflation situation.
Well, I think right now, I think one of the things that would actually benefit the company would be lower rates. And if we go into a weaker economy and the Fed cuts rates, that would alleviate some of the deposit cost pressures than the funding cost pressures that they're faced with. And
Fed's not likely to do that anytime soon.
No, not anytime soon. I think we're looking into next year at the earliest. So I think we're basically going to see the company lose money for the next several quarters.
If the Fed doesn't cut rates because it's still battling inflation, even if it decides to stop raising rates, if it doesn't cut rates, let's say for the next 2 years, how would that change your perspective on this?
That tunnel gets a lot longer then.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Xrp, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.